What's going on, everybody? Test, test, test. 1, 2, 1, 2. This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing. I'm just going to start kicking this off for a second, letting everyone get in here this morning because we do not have our sound. Could you guys all hear me, though, right? Test, test. 1, 2, 1, 2. We all good? Yeah. So we don't have our music this morning. I don't know what's going on. I restarted my machine last night, and I currently don't have any sound on it. Obviously, I'm not going to troubleshoot. I'm going to flow right into our session. But first, I want to make sure everyone has the opportunity to get in here. So for a couple of minutes, we're just going to appreciate this beautiful, beautiful pop over here as Bitcoin goes on to make new all-time highs, taking out $20,000, taking out the big sell wall we had up there, popping above it over here. And it's just a beautiful sight over here. It's FOMC day today. It's a big day ahead of us. There's a lot going on. Now, FOMC days, you can see the markets over here. You can see silver, right? Also bid. Obviously, it's Bitcoin and crypto leading the day. I still consider it a big risk. I think that the Fed is going to try to do what it always does, and that's outdove the market. And they do a very, very good job at it. Nevertheless, never get comfortable. Never get comfortable. Always be looking for the downside. Always be looking for the risk. That's what I'm doing. Listen, I guess I'll wait for everyone else to get in here before I start talking about what happens on FOMC day. FOMC day or FOMO day. There's so much I want to share with everyone. And I wish I had the music here to give everyone a time to get in. But nevertheless, this is what we got to work with over here. You guys are all too kind. And guys, I was thinking of you last night. Good to see you in here this morning. You guys are all too kind for real. I do mean that. And I just want to keep myself humble, so I'm not going to say anything. But listen, I'm glad we have each other. I'm grateful that we have each other. I'm extraordinarily grateful that we have each other. What happens in here, what we've created in here is extraordinary. It's one of the greatest things one of the most important things that I'm happy for in 2020. We were sharing that this morning in the Conquering the Market Telegram group. Listen, we've got a lot right this year, right? Speaking of that, and I just want to wait for a few more to get in here before I feel like there's so much to share. Well, we're just going to go for it. Thanks, Alan. Again, all of you, man, each and every one of you, I take note of each and every one of you every day. And you guys are what made Conquering the Markets what it is. So I'm grateful for you. What's up? Big shout out Brooklyn over there for sure. Best restaurants in the world, Brooklyn. So by the way, yesterday's video over here was so important. Yesterday's videos over here was so important because it was the comments over here. I wanted to highlight this comment by Manuel over here. I'll do that in a little bit when people come in. I was playing with the charts last night. I had a new realization looking at the charts yesterday. I'm able to clearly see, it's kind of like the Matrix when Neo all of a sudden starts to see the code of the Matrix and then it becomes clearer and clearer and he gets it. That's what I feel like. I feel pretty confident we now will know what the low of this bear market cycle will be. And when we'll know it, I think I want to present that to you in a video. And I'm ready to do it. So probably, this week, maybe this weekend, I will do that. So excited for that because it's just another piece of the puzzle. It's just it's so funny. It's the same thing with the cycle. It's like once you see it, you can't unsee it, and it's another piece falling into place. Very excited for that. I'm very excited for this. If you didn't see this tweet, I give Brent Johnson a hard time sometimes, rightfully so, but nevertheless, much respect. I saw a video on Real Vision last night with Brent from Santiago Capital interviewing one of his mentors, right? The person that actually taught him why things are deflationary. And now he's considering the inflationary case. You could see Brent with the person that he respects the most in the markets telling him, no, not only are we going inflationary, we already have. And Brent listening, right? And just so much respect for that because that's what it's all about. It's not about being on the right side. It's not about being right. It's about being on the right side, right? It's all about being on the right side. It's not about being right. You just want to know what is correct. And if Brent is able to see that and then change his view, How could you not have great respect for that, right? I do. That's awesome. You have to be able to change your mind when presented with new facts. Otherwise, you're going to get left behind. And Brent gave a like to that, so that was kind of cool to see as well. And here's the video. If anyone's looking for it, it's on Real Vision. It's inflationary pressures on the dollar and the euro. Good to see that. I was very happy to see that. Growth mindset is absolutely extraordinary. This morning I was like 19,800. Bitcoin is very beautiful. 20,341 Bitcoin obviously looks beautiful. A lot of people by the way, listen, the last thing I want to do is just be like, but anyway, how beautiful was this, right? Coming into this level, I started looking for the drawdown. We got the drawdown, much less than I expected. I'm looking for a 30% drawdown. It's only 16% drawdown. But as we recovered and made the new highs, I was like, okay, all right, presented with new facts. From here, I think we go on to make that new all-time high. Here we are, beautiful. A lot of people, for real, a lot of people on Twitter were talking about us coming back down towards 11,000. And then you just got to look at the chart over here. Where's Plan B's stock to flow? This is the area where we start seeing some gaps in the dots, the monthly prints over here. This is what we're starting to look for and look at, but we're not out of the woods. It's nice over here. It's beautiful. Let's always protect our downside. Let's watch what happens with the FOMC today. It's FOMC day. I want to talk about that for 1 second with you all, just to prepare you. By the way, it's at 2. Why does it say, whoa, what's going on? Am I on the wrong calendar or something? So I'm not sure what's going on over here. FOMC, someone correct me if I'm wrong really quick. FOMC is at 2 p.m. Eastern time. 2 p.m. Eastern time, and the press conference is at 2:30. Has anything changed, or is my time off over here? Obviously, let me just go 7 o'clock a.m. I don't even know what time it is. 9 o'clock, off by 2 hours. Okay, just checking. 2 p.m. Eastern time is the FOMC rate statement. Okay, a half hour later is the press conference at 2:30 p.m. That's when the magic happens. Okay, just watch the press conference. By the way, I'm just going to give it to you easy because we never know what's going to happen, right? When the mic drops, when Jerome Powell puts down the microphone, whatever direction the market is going, at that direction will usually be the continuation, at least to Asia. Asia and London are known for actually turning whatever happened on FOMC day. You have to watch out for that. You can never get comfortable. I do believe in this case, is there a possibility that the Fed is going to actually ease this meeting? Is that a possibility? Again, I think that any surprises will be on the dovish side. I think everyone here is positioned for that. I don't think anyone has anything to worry about. The only thing that I'm going to stress today is do not get comfortable. Do not get yourself into a position thinking it's a free ride. If you do, the market's going to smash you in your face, right? So do not do that. All right. So what are we looking at today? By the way, thanks for spending this time. Thanks for being here this morning. Glad to have you all with us. Absolutely, Trader M. I just feel blessed. That's all. I just feel blessed. Someone was saying this morning in one of the comments, I try to read all of the comments. I'm not able to respond to every single comment, every single tweet, every single message, but I take it all in, and it's all important to me. All right, for sure. Someone was saying, listen, could we emulate your chart work? Is that something that could be learned? No, I was saying to my wife this week in bed, I was like, I can't believe it. I'm so impressed seeing everybody's chart work. It's absolutely, I feel like a proud dad, It's amazing what they're doing. Some people even producing better chart work than me. Absolutely, it's something that could be learned. There's no question about it. Is our style unique? Yeah. How it all happened, I have no idea. But for sure, everyone here, the free world's got someone shook. But for sure, there we go. That's all right, man. Look, I'm just staying humble because if I don't stay humble, the market will humble me really quick. I am grateful for it. 2020, we've seen a lot of great calls, but nevertheless, I just take every day as it is, just trying my best to be a student of the market, right? To be a student of the market. Yeah, 2020 was strange, and this community is absolutely a lifesaver. I absolutely love it. So it is a taco day, that is for sure. If you're looking for a 30%, look, you don't have to listen to me. You don't have to consider my counsel. For you for sure. But I kept saying, listen, after this pullback, you have to be fully positioned in, right? Because the risk is to the upside. You have to be fully positioned in because 20,500 Bitcoin is cheap. Because we've had pullbacks and they've been 116.5 and 220% pullbacks. The 30% on pullbacks that I'm looking for, and I still think they'll happen, they haven't occurred yet. I don't know when it's going to happen. I'm still waiting for it to happen, but you have to adjust yourself to the market. The market is showing us something different. We have to be flexible. It's not about being right. It's about being on the right side of the trade. That's all, everyone. Anyway, this is right there, Miguel. This is it right there. Miguel on the same page as me. This is the comment of the month over here because he's got me. He understands me. Love it, brother. That's for sure. Yeah, everyone's charts, beautiful. Alan, his chart work is incredible. I'm not just singling Alan. So many people. We looked at Gary's chart work on gold earlier yesterday. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff. And that's the thing. Like, take what I share and make it better. That's awesome. That's what I want. Part of the reason for starting this group was that I wanted to go ahead and, first of all, have this like oasis, this wonderful positive community that we could work together with. And that the more I share, the more I build people up, then their insight would continue to grow. And then it would be like this perfect feedback loop where we're all just bringing it together. And that's what we have today. It's absolutely amazing. So people are talking about BitW. Look, I don't know how to price in the premiums. I don't understand it. If you're invested in that, right, you're investing it through the cycle. When we exit Bitcoin, that's the time to exit the trade, right? So positive feedback loop. That's a good thing. Positive feedback loop's a wonderful thing. Zen, I'm laughing at that comment over there. Yeah, Michael is legendary. Michael is, I think it was Anthony Papalano who said he thinks that in the future, students of finance are going to look back at Michael Saylor and what he did at this time and just look at him at a completely breakthrough. It's absolutely beautiful. Jonathan, appreciate that very much. Listen, the course is, the course costs next to nothing, right? It's some people are telling me that I need to raise the price and all that and that. I mean, that's not really my concern, but it's extraordinarily valuable. What's shared there, the weekly training, the community, it's all extremely valuable, as is what we share here. But thank you, Jonathan. I do appreciate that very much. It is, listen, why it's here. It's not always going to be here. That's for sure. So, listen, how high do we go in this short-term run? I have no idea, right? Well, I pulled a number. We're going to look at that right now. That's what we're going to start with. By the way, do you see me kind of stalling a little bit this morning? Why is that? What's going on over there? It's FOMC day. It is FOMC day. Be aware of that, right? As New York gets to the desk over here, there's not much left. No, for sure, the first hour and a half is going to be volatile. Price is going to settle in then. It's going to really settle in until we get Jerome up on the mic to see what he says. Let's look at some targets on the upside at Bitcoin. Let's really look at that and see what's going on. If you don't believe me, watch. I don't know, 20 years, 20 plus years of doing this. Experience is the best teacher. That's for sure. If you don't believe me, wait and watch, And by the way, like, don't ever listen to me. Do consider my opinion, Why? You have to listen to those who have a history of being correct. I mean, if you're here, I assume you're here to work together and to learn. So if you think you know better, great. What are we looking at here on the upside? let's take a look. And now we could see actually what we're looking at over here. By the way, just so everyone knows, this is the first trend line that I drew in. This is also the triangle, right? This was the highs, the all-time high, was the all-time high, right? That set off the bull market, right? And then over here, we had this lower trend line. We were within this triangle. This is very important. This is like kind of just a refresher. I don't think we ever broke down over here if it was not for the liquidity crisis, the dollar shortage. That started back in September of 2019 when the Fed started the action in the repo market. And then it accumulated over here. This was the model breaking. The model broke over here to the downside, right? Not my chart work, not my TA. Yes, that's included, but the whole model broke over here. Now, there is a chance it's going to break to the upside this cycle as well. That's all possible, right? I'll talk about that in the next video. So anyway, this trend line over there, I want to focus in on that bottom one over there. That's the prime trend line. I then cloned it, and you could see over here how it then provided right over here. This was providing support, broke, resistance, resistance, resistance. Then I put this line. These lines have been up here way before price started rising up here, right? And you could see over here, then this line over here was in play. So I want you to see how we got to those lines, right? And then I'll go back to real time. You'll see this line yesterday playing in effect. This is what we're looking for, resistance now. There's no resistance up here anymore. We're now making new all-time highs. There's no resistance. What resistance do we look at? This is what we're looking at right over here, right? Can we get a price check? Can we get a price check on aisle 7, please? I'm trying to see what that is. This US dollar number's in the way over there. I can't see it. I'm going to say it's right around 22,000, right? It's right around 22,000. That's the next number we're looking at. We'll say, I don't know exactly what it is. We don't need to know it exactly, but it's around 22,000, right? And then above there, what do we have? Much higher. Let's call it 23,300 or something like that. Those are the next two levels we're watching to the upside. And that's that. It's beautiful. That's all I could say. When I talked about this other line over here, you could see breaking out from the triangle, right? We then put in that little bull flag, and then you could see that line also holding over there. There it was, as resistance. These lines haven't been moved. They've always been over there, and that's where we're at today. So that's a beautiful thing. Listen, if you're not fully positioned into Bitcoin, I think you're on the wrong side of the trade. I know many people keep talking about, a pullback and a drawdown and all this and that. Okay, you could keep waiting. The safest entry would be a 30% pullback. If we go to $30,000 and then pull back 30%, wherever that takes us, whatever that is, 21,000, that's going to be a really good and safe entry for sure. Just be aware that the market is showing us so far we're not having those pullbacks. That's all. Let's look at the equity markets over here this morning. S&P 500 testing the top portion of that range. I know someone in the training session, right, was talking about how they took that aggressive entry over there. And then we talked about, they were like, do we take profit? We were like, we don't ever take profit. That would be cutting your winners short. Right? We don't ever want to cut our winners short. Even if you were right and got out of that trade, you just taught your subconscious self a very bad habit. Move your stop loss to break even at targeting the top of the resistance to take a piece off. We're at the top of the resistance. Are we going to break out now during FOMC? I'm just going to talk about what we're watching out for risks on the downside. Here it's very clear, right? Everyone should know down over here, a breakdown outside of this consolidation. That would be the negative event. We would stand aside and wait, right? Is there any reason to be selling the equity markets? Absolutely not, right? If we get any type of signal to sell, we will be there. There's no indication whatsoever of selling. Don't ever get comfortable. That's just the message of today. Do not get comfortable. Do not expect that the Fed is going to jump in today and be ultra dovish. Maybe what the Fed is going to do, just be aware of the risk. Maybe what the Fed is going to do and say is, we need the government to step up. And then the market's going to say, you know what? The government's not stepping up actually enough, right? We have a new stimulus coming. It's not a bazooka. That might be the last big package. If Georgia goes red, that's probably the last big package we're going to see in 2021. The market might not like that. The markets might sell off. Just be aware. Do not get comfortable, right? Here we go on the Nasdaq over here, breaking out above the trend line. I like it over here, waiting for that pullback. We might pop and might not get it. Do not chase the market. If that happens, let the market go, because nothing goes straight up forever. It will come back. It will consolidate. It will give a better entry. Russell over there too. New everything here printing new all-time highs. Not the Nasdaq, not the S&P 500, right? It's very close to printing new all-time highs. What about the Nasdaq? Very close to printing new all-time highs. We have the Dow, very close to printing new all-time highs, and the Russell is printing new all-time highs. It's going to be a big day. It's going to be a big and beautiful day. Let's see what happens. The dollar over here absolutely continues to get crushed. Love it. I just love beautiful TA, our little bear flag. How many people were calling the bottom over here? I can't even. Our good friend Sven at North Grumman Trader, he put out a piece just the other day calling the bottom over here, right? Everyone's trying to always call the bottom. Stay on the right side of the trade. Over here, we had the breakdown of the bull flag, the retest, and now we're getting the resumption, obviously targeting down over here. Let me just zoom in to 88.40. That would be a 2-year low. Let's see what happens down there. But right now, we got, and by the way, here's the Brad. Speaking of good chart work, here's the Brad channel, the DXY channel. I'm going to talk about channels in a second. Someone was like this morning, because this is beautiful chart work. This is our guide. This is what's going to continue to keep us on the right side of the market, right? So by the way, speaking of such, right? I just showed you resistance, I think at 88, what was it? 88.40, okay? And look what happens if we break 88.40, just so you know. This is going to be the resistance we look at wherever this trend line is. I'll look at as we get closer, and then the one below, right? This is the one where we would be looking, obviously, for a resumption off of this trend line down over here. That's where we would be like, all right, guys. All right, now's the time. Either which way, a breakout to the upside, that's where we start looking to get long on the dollars outside of this trend line over here. Someone was like on the S&P yesterday, he's like, don't you consult trend lines on the S&P 500? Like, Jordan, how come you don't consult trend lines in the S&P 500? I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone, right? Like everyone, like, look, here's my trend lines. What are you talking about? Has anyone consulted trend lines on the S&P 500 more than what we do over here on our work? And has that kept us on the right side of the market since April, pausing in August, then getting back on the train up until November, right? This was a big pattern for us, this descending triangle over here, this descending wedge over here. And then we came into this big triangle and I was like, all right, now I'm pausing on the trend lines. Of course I consult trend lines. And rightfully so. Look what happened then. Next consolidation. We're still consulting chart patterns. We're not consulting trend lines right now. Why? That's not what the market's showing me. I don't try to impose your will on the market. Just be a student of the market. We're looking to see what the market is showing us, right? Silver is the story here this morning, right? Silver never pulling back ever since taking out the 2430. Breaking the 2430 resistance, that's when I said, all right, well, that opens up some aggressive entries on silver, but there's never been an opportunity to get in since, at least from where I live on the 8-hour, there's not been an opportunity. And that happens sometimes. Momentarily for 2 sessions, price has gotten away. Could that continue? Yeah. You know what? This could actually, if the Fed comes out uber dovish, if the Fed eases, this thing could take out the 26 resistance soon enough, right? Maybe I don't get an entry until we confirm that. Okay, the market is always going to be there and there's always opportunity, or maybe the Fed is not. Maybe we're going to get a surprise from the Fed. Maybe we hold this and there'll be another opportunity. Patience is everything. Patience lines up the timing. If you don't have patience, if you have FOMO, if you think that the market is getting away from you, if you think that the trade is getting away from you, then you're going to be trading from a position of, let's just say whatever the opposite of power is. I don't know what it is. Let's take a look. Alts are flying over here. XRP is finally joining the party over here, coming into some resistance over there. Listen, let's go ahead and just tighten one thing up over here. Let's tighten one thing up over here, and that's this trend line over here, because this is going to be when it's safe to get back into the waters on XRP. Listen, I don't like it. There's no question about it. If you want to know my opinion on XRP, I don't like it. I don't think this is where you should invest your money. If you're going to trade it, fine, trade it. Don't fall in love with it. It rips. There's opportunity, right? Just be aware also, after it rips, this is never natural. This is never a natural price action. We've looked at it 100 times. You can see all these rips. It doesn't happen on other pairs like this. And as it rips, rest assured, here comes Ripple selling their tokens to you, funding their company, right? But anyway, I digress. Let's see what's going on with Ethereum over here, and that's nice. 621, 621. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful price action as well. Breaking out of the triangle, the retest, the resumption up, coming into resistance right now. Beautiful. I've said 621 is a matter of time, and when it breaks, 817 could come quickly. Here we go. We got some resistance below that, 730. Let's put it in over there, because that's the next level to watch out for. It's not big, but it's a level. That would be a level to watch out for. So there's a nice setup developing here on Ethereum. Here it is, right? If we break out above this resistance over here, right, everyone could look for what? The retest and the resumption. We talk about crypto, right? Brandon has been instrumental. Crypto, you know, why often in FX, in commodities, we get that retest, the breakout, retest, resumption. Sometimes crypto will just break out and get away from you, okay? Do not chase, wait for the right trade. But here's a perfect example, even on XRP, right? That support line over there, was that the best line I had over there? Yeah, it was a perfect support line I have over here. And I could have see where the one below it, I wasn't focused in on the trade, right? What's going on with the KIPS metals this morning, the industrial metals over here? They're off a little bit. And you all know how I talk about, by the way, this is actually something to look at. Let me focus in on that. We're coming into this what just happened? We're coming into this area here where nickel is setting up for a possible buy-in. What is going on, Jordan? Where nickel is setting up for a possible buy entry. Let's take a look at it right now. Do notice I talk about that little dance and flow between gold, silver, and then the industrial metals. When gold and silver are pumping, these like kind of come off or consolidate, and vice versa. And here, gold and silver are making the move. But look at this beautiful, beautiful next entry right now. Do you remember as price was trading up here? I pointed out this. That's why that was so highlighted over there. I was like, wait for the pullback into here. Here's the pullback. Price getting ready to resume up. Jordan, I can't take a trade coming right into resistance. Yes, you can. Don't worry about it. It's a great trade, right? Why? Anytime your risk is so clear, capped, it's a beautiful trade. You're wrong. If price makes the new high here and then comes back down and takes this out, you get out of that trade. You just get out of that trade. You know, no big deal. Keep going. But over here, we're seeing everything run. Copper up on the day, right? That was hard for me as it was coming down into that trend line. I would not have taken that trade ever. But we could see that this rising channel continues to go. We saw last month, a few weeks ago, a lot of instruments have this pattern and break out to the upside. We saw a lot that happened occur in a lot of places. So it's interesting to just make a note of. That's what the market's about, making notes. What else are we looking at? I don't know if I should get into FX. Oh, by the way, big deal. The PMIs out of Europe came in way better than expected. Way better? I don't know about way better. Yeah, wow. That's insane. Look at this services PMIs out of France destroying the estimates, destroying, almost back into expansion, over 50s expansion. Look at the German manufacturing PMIs, also better than expected. This is, obviously insane. And then look at the US. I didn't even know about this. I didn't notice about this. US retail sales down, Europe up, putting that pressure on the dollar. Let's take a look at the euro, see what's going on over here. Following and tracking that DXY. So I'm going to make this, Jordan, Zach, we talked about this last night, actually, in the Telegram group. Why do alts follow Bitcoin so much, and will they diverge over the time? The second part of the question about whether or not they. So listen, the whole market is about Bitcoin, right? And it's the simplest analogy. I'm sorry, I'm a what is guy and not a why guy. Lynn Alden, I love her. She's fantastic. She's a why girl. She'll tell you exactly why, right? But I'm not good at that. I know my limitations. I know what I'm good at. I'm kind of good at just like looking at charts and understanding trends, you know? Same thing, Alan. So I don't know why, but the whole crypto market, is surrounded by Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the tide, right? A rising tide lifts all boats, right? So I just got a message from a childhood best friend telling me that Coinbase is down. How is it that Coinbase goes down every time the market pumps? Absolutely atrocious, ridiculous, right? How is it Coinbase in 2020 goes down, right? Anyway, back to my thought though. Will alts disconnect from Bitcoin at any given time? I don't think so at all. I want to show you this to illustrate with what I am able to illustrate with best. And this is what I'm looking at over here, I believe. Let me pull this chart up. No, that's the top 10. I don't want the top 10. Hold, give me one more second. This is the chart I want. I want you to look at this really quick over here. This is the top 10. I'm putting up the top 20, the top 70. This is going to answer your question, I do believe, about whether or not you will see altcoins disconnect from Bitcoin. Because right now, at this point in the cycle, people are seeing Bitcoin rising, and they're like, wait, what's going on, right? How come Bitcoin is rising and the alts are not? I think it's perfectly how the cycle should be. I'm going to go ahead and focus right over here in early 2017, which is kind of where we are right now. So what I'm going to do is just going to zoom in on that. I want you to see, because seeing, like for me at least, visually is the best way to understand things. So I'm going to go ahead and just do to July, right? There we go, August 31st. Let me zoom in for a minute over here. What you saw happening over here, hold on, right? Bitcoin is leading at this point. This is January 2017. You could see over here that Bitcoin, I wish I could go back a little bit further before December 31st. But at this point in the beginning right now, Bitcoin is leading everything, right? Now, if I go a little bit further, you see over here that the alts are going to start coming in here, and the alts are going to start leading as we get right about here. Getting close. I would say about 2 or 3 months from now. You can see the Bitcoin 70 now starting to destroy everything. And then you see the Bitcoin top 20 beginning to lead. What I'm getting at, and because I can't zoom in clearly to show you well, at this point in the cycle, I firmly believe that what we're looking at is exactly what we should be looking at, is Bitcoin leading the way. You're seeing Ethereum in 2020 outperform Bitcoin, and you see that top 10 first begin to really outperform Bitcoin. And then shortly after that, what I'm saying, like if I wanted to put by February of 2021, right? That's just 2 months away. That's when we're really going to see alts really pumping and really outperforming Bitcoin. It's really coming soon, right? You'll know, I'm not trying to give you some type of theory that's going to take a year or two to prove me right or wrong. I'm telling you, 2 months from now, you should see those altcoins really pumping and leading the way. I think everything is unfolding exactly as it should. I think that this cycle, we're going to see a huge move in the altcoins. And I don't know if that was helpful for you or not. I understand it sometimes, I guess. Bitcoin, I have no idea what Bitcoin's dominance is at this time right now. Let's take a look and see. So Bitcoin right now is 64, right? Loading, 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 loading. I guess we'll come back to that. So Bitcoin's at 64. It's kind of close, but we're talking to a couple of months from now in February, right? I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm not an altcoin guy. I'm a Bitcoin guy. Everyone knows that. And this Bitcoin guy who's not like, I'm a Bitcoin maxi and it's only Bitcoin. Like, guys, crypto has a big place in the future. I wish for the success of many projects, and I believe we're going to see that. But I'm not focused on any of that. I'm just talking about the rhythm of the cycles. And this cycle right now, I put out a very important tweet yesterday. If you didn't see it, I do want to share it with you really quick before I go into that question I was just talking about over here. And the tweet I put out was right here. This is so important. The thing to do right now is focus on this bull market. Operative word, this. You have to get that right. Next, we will focus on exiting. Then we will focus on where to allocate at the time. The world is ever changing. That's almost a year from now. Then we will focus on accumulating back in for the next cycle. Anything else is irrelevant. And when I talk about focusing on this cycle, I think we're going to see the altcoins run no matter what. I think it's coming. I'm not an altcoin guy. And it doesn't mean that, like, because I'm not an altcoin guy, I don't think they're going to do their thing. I really do. So whatever that's worth for you, I'm sharing that with you. I think what we're going to do is go ahead and turn this into like a Friday session over here. 466 likes. Thank you, everyone, for sharing the love, for really helping the channel over here. I do appreciate that love for sure. Because it's FOMC day, because I'm in a holding pattern, we're going to open it up. We're going to take a look at what you guys are doing, what you guys want to talk about. And then that's how we're going to flow, including if that means if there's any FX pairs you want to look at, whatever you want to do. But I'm in a holding pattern right now. So I'm holding. Here we go. So 30% pullback, new buy orders up to 15K, 100%. Rod has got the rhythm. Rod, thanks for bringing that to everyone's attention. I think that, like, on your phone, you should have a reoccurring alarm going off weekly, adjust orders. You should, by the way, Alan was talking about yesterday on altcoins. A lot of altcoins have very illiquid markets where you see spikes. You see severe price spike downs, right? Because there's low liquidity. You could, if you're playing alts, is it a good idea to have some orders in way out of market just in case they get filled? Yeah. Maybe you wake up one morning and like you just won the lottery because you got a great fill. Do it. But yeah, Rod, that's very important. You should adjust your orders right now. Let's take a look really quick at what that brings us right now. Excuse me, if we were to pull back 30%, let's see just where that would take us right now. That's 30% off the next resistance would take us down to. We got big support over here. Or we got support over here, I should say, right? Where my mouse is right now. Look at that resistance, breakout, retest. That would take us towards 15,600. Now, Rod was saying off of the current high right now, right? Where does that take us? That takes us somewhere around 14,400. So very, very, very important information. Thanks, Rod, for bringing that to everybody's attention over there. I can't thank you enough. Blah, blah, blah. Brother, beautiful. That's all on you. That's all on you. No, that's all on you. You did it, right? I'm just here providing insight and information. You're the one acting. Great, great, great work on your end. Do I think it's stopped to have, yeah. So there's no, absolutely. There's 100% you should have stops whenever you trade. The first and only thing you should do upon entry is know where your stop loss is, because you can't enter the market without knowing where your stop loss is, because you have no idea what your position size is. Your whole position size is dependent on how far away your stop loss is. 100% you should always trade with a stop loss. Otherwise, eventually, oil went negative, you're going to get wrecked. There's no question about it. You're here to survive. You're here to be the casino. You're here to have the edge and stay around. Are we still looking at, yeah, Samuel? I think so. So Samuel's asking on the three ways to trade Bitcoin. Are we still looking at 150 conservative, 170 aggressive, 160 sweet spot of looking to possibly take some profits if you're looking off of the low of the move? So right now, what Samuel is saying, this is the low over here, right? And if I go up 150%, where does that put us? I think it puts us, I'm not doing the math right now, I think it puts us at 40,000. Because if you remember, right over here, I started saying, listen, my eyes are now on $40,000, you know? And I think that could be quite a while before we get there. I don't think that's coming soon. I think that could be quite a while. If I had put a time frame on that, I'm really not one about making like predictions like that, right? Now, Bitcoin is math. We all know back in July, I put out that video where Bitcoin will be in December 2020. We crushed it, right? But anyway, I think it'll be around April or May that we're trading at around $40,000. That's what I think, and I'm pretty confident about that. But we will see. MicroStrategy. I don't know MicroStrategy's stock ticker, so I'm gonna have to spell it out. Could someone? By the way, I am definitely the worst speller in the whole community. I definitely have that honor, right? So what are you looking at over here? All right, noise. What do you mean by that? So Michael is absolutely how do you say, like an innovator who is just paving a new path, a new way. I don't have the word over here. You saw over here, this was when MicroStrategy did the raise, right? And they were downgraded by some Wall Street analysts. When has a Wall Street analyst ever got anything right? You know, can you imagine listening to a Wall Street analyst? Listen, if you're investing in MicroStrategy, is it a good way to play Bitcoin? Yeah, if you're in the public markets. Do you have faith in the CEO of the company, the one steering that ship? I would. He's got hands of steel. He's looking at holding his position for what? For 100 years plus, right? What's going to happen though? MicroStrategy now holding. I don't know if it's top 10 holding of Bitcoin there is. I don't know if it's top 5, if it's number 5, 6, or whatever it is. But every single public company is going to be soon enough looking at MicroStrategy's holding, and they're going to have FOMO. Like, I hope these billionaires, like Jeff Bezos, right? I hope he has like this enormous ego and wants to have the most Bitcoin, right? After everyone else realizes how smart Michael is, right? Which is going to happen. And then like they're going to be looking at a list and he's going to be like seeing MicroStrategy ahead of theirs. That's going to prevent some FOMO. But is this a good long-term hold? I would. How could you? Do you think Bitcoin's a good long-term hold? I do. Let's go look at the pound US dollar over here this morning and see what's going on. I wish I could get a peek at some real-time comments because I'm just keeping them flowing behind over here. But here's the pound US dollar. Look at that. That's impressive. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. Why? Why is that impressive, Jordan? Do you see over here that we're taking out that resistance over here, that horizontal resistance at $1.35? Not only that, do you see this huge trend line break that's occurring? That's a 13-year trend line break. You all know, going back to the euro, by the way, and that 12-year trend line break, right? How much I love that action. Got it on the pound US dollar right now. Is the Brexit still a worry? Yep, that's just been kicked down the line. But right now, we're looking at a dollar story. It's a dollar story where you have to, like, sometimes, for Jordan at least, sometimes when the chart's lined up and like logically or like mentally I don't see it, sometimes what I do is I hold my breath and I jump in because the charts don't lie. But over here, we're getting this nice breakout over there, right? And now above that resistance, looking for two things. Looking over here still, wait. The entry's not here right now. it's coming. It could be coming in the next couple of days. It could be coming tomorrow. But you're waiting for either a retest of that resistance or a retest of that trend line. Both of those, a resumption off would provide a good entry. That should be highlighted for myself. I'm going to do it. I love those trend line breaks. And you also have Greg, shout out, the big horizontal resistance to play off of as well. All right. You resuming. XXP, X, blah, 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 blah. Let's take a look. All right, platinum. I feel like two things. I feel like number one, that as we're entering this massive inflation is a thing, commodity bull market, right? And we're just setting up for that huge trend line break I showed you the other day, right? That I should be involved in trading all sorts of commodities over these next couple of years. I loved this channel that we were in over here. And I feel like I should have been trading this and I should have been using these lower portions to lean into against. I really feel like that, right? But anyway, this is beauty to me. This is just beauty. Here is an example of that rising channel that I was talking about, breaking to the upside. So as far as upside targets on platinum, right? Listen, let me see. I wouldn't have any, right? I would not have any upside targets. This is kind of like, reminds me of nickel, looking at a long-term play over here, right? Do you foresee us, sometime in 2021 taking a look over here at 1175 and or breaking above that resistance? I do, I wouldn't have really upside targets as much as I would be looking for position trades. It's an early Friday. That's right. US dollar pairs right now are like just really quick. I'll look at the DXY, and now is not the time. You're chasing momentum if you're looking to get into that trade now, right? So US dollar pairs are not the pairs to look at. I just showed you the pound US dollar and was like, that could develop in 2 days. That could develop in 1 day, but you're waiting because you never chase momentum. That's probably worse than trying to pick bottoms and tops, chasing after momentum. Do not do it, right? You have the over here, the bear flag, the breakdown, the retest of resistance, and then the resumption down. Take the course. It's so valuable. It's ridiculous. Plug more intimately into the community. Learn something useful. But this is conquering the markets all day long. Right now, you don't chase. And if just to show you another pair, just take a look at the Australian dollar, US dollar, right? I don't see any entries right now at all. I would be waiting on US dollar pairs. I exited this trade over there. It's gone nowhere since. That's interesting. All right, what else we got going on? If we take a look at coffee, I'll drink some coffee, right? Coffee. Where's the futures? So, anyway, yeah, that's not so interesting to me, right? I would have to say, and it's one of my dreams if I ever have the time. Maybe that will be when the 6 kids get off to college to study bottom patterns and to really understand what accumulation looks like at the bottom. This looks like a bottom pattern forming over here. This to me looks like the New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen in early 2020. Let's see. Let's see, 1 second. No, I take that back. This is the New Zealand dollar, US dollar. I digress. I don't know what I was thinking. But coffee right now, that doesn't seem like the play for me, right? That doesn't seem like the play. Why do I say that, right? There's a lot of interesting things going on right now. And really industrial metals, precious metals, Bitcoin, altcoins. I don't think coffee's the play for me. Don't don't trust verify. Don't trust verify. So what about short losses? You got to take your losses. You got to manage your risk. Being a trader is all about managing risk, right? Gold and silver, let's do it. Let's see what's going on this morning. The reason I wasn't looking at them is because let's take a look at gold at least first, right? As we take a look at gold, I want you to have this chart in mind over here. This is Gary's chart work of gold. This is the bull market we're looking at. And right now you can see this is a bull flag developing. The easy entry, there's nothing easy about trading, is the breakout of this trend line over here, up here. That's at 1914. I'm going to zoom in a little bit to take a look at that flag that's developing. You can see it over here. Another entry would be if there was a pullback towards this support over here. Clone this line in your mind and put it between these points as well. That would be a really, I would say, really good entry. But let's look at real time right now on the chart over here. That trend line break, by the way, is 1914. That's my gold line. I had that in there for a while now. That's when I feel that it's time to really get involved in gold. And over here, this is all messy for me. Let me clean that up just really quick. This is so important, and I lack on it sometimes. Right now over here, right? Right now over here, if we're able to resume out of over here, that does bring up an aggressive buy entry on gold, taking over once we cleared above this two resistance levels over here. It's aggressive. I don't know that I love it. I do see for sure gold going in 2021 on to new all-time highs. I told my father-in-law last night, I was like, listen, he gotten himself into a Bitcoin and big gold position during the height of the crisis, finally. And I told him, hey, listen, I really think you should consider right now getting completely out of your gold position and into Bitcoin. Wait until the end of 2021 and then move back into gold. I think that's the trade. I mean, you've seen people talk about like all these inflows into Bitcoin coming out of gold. It's impossible really to know that, but there's been out of gold ETFs a massive amount of outflows, and there's been a massive amount of inflows into things like GBTC. So, I think the trade right now is not gold. I think it's Bitcoin. And I think that's important, which is why I'm sharing it with you. Silver, I think, could be one of, Bitcoin aside, I think silver might be one of the best trades of 2021, right? I talked about the necessity of silver inside of solar panels. At President-elect Biden, we're going to have a new green initiative. And I also, someone mentioned that it's also in electric vehicles, which I'm sure it is. I just don't know anything about it. And, as well as playing the whole piece of money over here. And we've been talking about for 2 or 3 weeks now how silver has started looking better than gold, right? And now we are seeing silver right now outperforming gold. And if you look at the gold to silver ratio, I think we're moving now towards a portion of time where silver is going to be outperforming. There's a trend line over here on silver, right? You can see it right there. So that's something to pay attention to. It's above 26 when this trade really starts taking off. And that's about it. Bitcoin's just being Bitcoin. When 250,000. By the way, can I just stop in over here? Again, just let me go over to Plan B. This is of note. I mean, I would take note. Everyone knows, by the way, that I love the chart, right? Why do I love the chart? Because the chart shows the cycle in colors, how many months into the next halving, right? I do not understand at all or even a little, and have never even taken the time, nor will I, to understand Plan B's stock to flow model, because it's not my model, meaning that if you look at my work on Bitcoin, and it's just going off of of patterns and trends, right? I love his chart work, right? But he's saying, and I think everyone should pay attention, that he's saying that stock to flow X, right? No. This way, I think that stock to flow X is better than stock to flow. So, by the way, the price target of stock to flow, right, is like $100,000. I think you can see it right over here, right? No, you can't. It's like $100,000 in this bull market, and the price target of the one model that he's saying that he prefers. I mean, he is the creator of the model. I would pay attention to what he's saying. The stock to flow X, he thinks that's the one that's correct. He has that priced at $288,000 in this bull market, and it's not just that, right? It's not just that, because why? Because price always overshoots where it should be. Yeah, right? Price always overshoots where it should be. So he's not looking for the high to be 288,000. He's looking for price to overshoot that to the upside. Could that happen? Yeah. And by the way, the model could break to the upside. By the way, my target, right? People think it's 140,000. The work I did is 160,000. I do 140 is if Bitcoin reaches 140,000, I've met and reached all my goals. I'm not exiting. I will exit when price lets me know to exit. If we're trading at $100,000 and it's only the summer, obviously I'm going to believe and understand that we're going much higher. Anyway, as it unfolds, I'll be walking everyone through it. As I walk myself through it, I'm sharing it with all you. I do consider you all definitely family, and that's just the way it is. All right, what's going on over here? What else are we looking at? Ivan on Tech bought you here? Wow, I had no idea. That's awesome. Big shout out then to Ivan. Was it someone in the comments or was it Ivan himself? Right? I feel like with all humility, for sure, always, but I feel like my work in Bitcoin is kind of important. Yet within the Bitcoin community, I don't think anybody knows who I am, right? Yeah, Samuel, there's a video that I produced on the Bitcoin playlist that discusses that in depth. That's exactly what you want. Watch the video. Watch the video. No, John. There's no objection to individual equities, and we've seen individual equities across the board put in massive moves. We got a lot of people inside the CTM group who are tracking individual entities, pulling out setups and everything like that. There's no objection whatsoever. Pointing out our nice bull pendant on, is it crisp? Yeah, clear as day. Nice spot. Should you have a stop loss on Bitcoin in the bull market? That depends if you are trading Bitcoin. That depends if you're trading Bitcoin with a little bit of leverage, in which case, yes, if you lose important levels, you should definitely decrease your position. But if you're holding Bitcoin unleveraged, should you have a stop loss? I don't know. Mine's kind of zero, That could happen. That could happen. I feel like that's a good possibility. Sorry for being late. You're right on time, brother. Good over here. I'm enjoying the session over here. Let me come back down into real time. I'm going to miss a lot of questions. I'm sorry about that, but I wanted to give a shout out there from Vern. Yeah. Vern, I'm right there with you. I'm right there. Vern, thanks for the shout out. Thanks for the support. Thank you, each and every one, for being here. Yeah. Hi, Ivan. Hidden gem. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, by the way, I do like Ivan. Sounds very. Ivan's work ethic is exceptional. Ivan's work ethic is exceptional. There's something to learn from everyone, and Ivan's work ethic is exceptional. You gotta really appreciate that. Yeah, I've heard of Benjamin Cowan, the nuclear physicist with the lengthening theory cycle. I don't believe it to be true. I think it's wrong. And when people are putting out information, right, hold on to your milkshake, that I don't think is correct, I'm going to call it out there all day long. Be aware. Be very aware. Zen, see you later. Yeah. Do rest assured my kids are not getting any Bitcoin, that's for sure. You know what? Speaking of kids, speaking of money, speaking of Bitcoin, and we were speaking about this with Juan last week. I would really on Twitter, I would really love to develop some type of guide for the future generation, right? Like, believe me, no one's getting Bitcoin unless they understand what it is and how money works. How do you get people to understand how money works? My journey, my rabbit hole, my first red pill was the creature from Jekyll Island. Understanding the monetary system, understanding how money is debt and what that means, and how there's debt attached to every dollar created. By the way, there was just 30% of all dollars, 30% of all dollars in existence were created in 2020. Right? Right back at you, brother. Right back at you. We're seeing inflation right now. I don't think that's a debate. I haven't thought. Look, since the Fed, the question is, are we going to see inflation or deflation in the U.S. and Europe? Since the Fed expanded their balance sheet by $4.1 trillion, I've been in the inflation camp. You had all people wearing all sorts of hats telling you it's deflationary. Tech is deflationary when you go ahead and you expand the monetary supply this significantly, and then you start handing out direct payments directly to people, i.e. stimulus checks. It is inflationary. If you don't see the inflation, right? So someone's pointing out to me in the housing market over here. This is a great comment. By the way, this video was awesome. It got one of the least amount of views. The comments on here was some of the best of the year. So I could care less about the views. I'm a quality over quantity. But he pointed out over here, right? I'm mainly here for the gold and silver, right? Listen, our housing prices are uber inflationary here in Montreal, up 20% compared to last year. That's not just Montreal. Look at parts of the US. You're seeing the same exact thing. If you're missing the inflation, you're missing everything. You know? So there we are. Going back to real time just to see what you all are doing, right? Beautiful session, really having fun. Look at lumber. Lumber started its trajectory back up, didn't it? I saw someone saying something about that. I guess we'll look at the CME. Right? We saw this huge speculation, this enormous timber, and now we're back up over there. By the way, this looks to me like a warning sign. By the way, just be careful over here. This type of pattern over here, looks like a warning sign to me. I would be very, very careful. You know what that pattern reminds me of? I'm going to show you really quick exactly what that pattern reminds me of. And it's not just this pattern plays out in the markets over and over and over and over and over again. But that looks a lot like this. That looks a lot like this run up, that drawdown, that last gap up, and then boom. So I would be careful on lumber futures. But yes, you're correct. If you want to see inflation, do look at lumber futures. 100% correct. But just be careful. Just be careful. Jordan, you all are 100%, 100%. You know what? This is really special. What's my favorite book? The Bible. By far. And not just the Bible, the Gospels. As a kid, I'd be under my bed with a flashlight just looking at the words in red, the words of Jesus. That's my favorite. I prefer YouTube videos. And much less audiobooks. I prefer YouTube videos, podcasts, more than books. You know? So what else are we looking at over here? We're looking at Bitcoin trading at 20,636. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. What's beautiful is knowing how many people got positioned into this, right? That was my work, right? I spent so much time and energy trying to get as many people possible to understand the Bitcoin cycle and to get positioned into it. by the way, I want to show you something because I do consider you family about what's important to me. This is what's important to me. I was thinking about this morning. Look, ultimately, my goal is to help as many people as possible around the world live better lives. And I think that we're on our way. So I'm grateful for that. Truly, truly, truly. This where we as a buy on pullbacks. I think for sure. I think agriculture is a big deal going forward over here. I really do. Maybe an agricultural ETF. I wish Kips was here. Where's Kips? We're missing you, brother. You know? Beautiful. No. You're right. No. Yeah. So look, across the board, communication through text, you don't. No, it's difficult to read the other person. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. You're entirely correct when you say, look at lumber futures if you want to see inflation. There's no question about that. Is it true that most Bitcoin is held in China? It's true that China holds more Bitcoin than the US government, but it's true that the Winklevoss brothers hold more than both of them. No, it's not true that most Bitcoin is held in China. It's true that most hash power currently is coming from China. But miners don't control anything. We all know that. That's been proven, right? It's those that are running your full nodes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so. That was very important. Thank you. Silver taking off's a beautiful thing. Sam, you were here back then? Wow. That's beautiful, Sam. And Sam, by the way, talking about like everyone's unique. Everyone brings so much. And Sam, you're one of them. Always here bringing that positivity. Thank you. Thank you, Sam. There we go. GSG. Let's take a look at it. Thank you for that. GSG. Oh, yeah. You can see it, right? Look at this gap getting ready to be closed. Yeah. So it's just not my style. My style is more of that like Stanley Druckenmiller. I see the trade. I focus all of my resources there, right? That's my style. But if I was like, you know, maybe in my quote unquote retirement, if I felt like just being like heavily diversified, which I'm not a diversification type guy, this is something that I would be interested in at this point in time. Really big. Let's put that into the watch list. I want to keep tracking it. Thomas, another one. Thank you for being such an important part of this community. Everyone, Dinkar, everybody, right? You guys are amazing. Beautiful, David. David, thank you for that. That's the comment of the day. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. I just want to say thank you. I have a problem. I have a problem with actually being able, I think, to take compliments, and I just want to say thank you. That's all. Good, David. But David, excellent, David. So for my own my own experience, it was the more I grew to understand Bitcoin, lots of research, lots of podcasts, lots of YouTube videos that I was able to position in more and more. And David, please start with the Bitcoin playlist on the channel. Start there. Go elsewhere. The internet is so big and vast, and there's so much amazing. Bitcoiners are astonishing. I don't consider myself like a Bitcoiner as far as like a pioneer in the space. And the amount of work and the amount of intellect, the amount of brain power that has gone into all of their collective work is astonishing. There's so much to learn, but the more you understand it, I want to make sure you're able to hold through the bull market. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, brother. Jeff, not at this moment. I'm in the middle of a little bit of a transition, but I have, and everyone should. It's important, you know. Is the right time to buy Bitcoin? listen, never chase momentum. We just popped. But, depending on your time horizon, if my little brother wanted to buy Bitcoin today, I would tell him to do it. With the caveat that he was holding through the bull market. Is 20,000 Bitcoin cheap? By the way, people got so mad at me. I would see the thumbs down fly back over here, 13,000. When I kept saying 13,000 Bitcoin's cheap. No, we're getting a pullback. 14,000 Bitcoin's cheap. We're getting a pullback. $13,000 Bitcoin, and people got like, it's cheap, man. It's cheap. Thank you, Billy. I don't know, Hard Forky. That's a good question. What's the plan for Christmas holiday sessions? I don't know. Just let me look at a calendar really quick. And, for sure we're going strong all week. Monday and Tuesday. And Monday for 100%. Tuesday's a travel day, but I'm not sure what time. My wife makes all the decisions. Monday for sure. And then we'll reevaluate. We'll touch base on Monday. And then we'll look at what's going on. And I don't know what will happen. I just don't know right now. But if you guys have any input, I would like to hear it. Yes, Victoria. Victoria, this is something that my good friend John Burst, big shout out, taught me. That happiness is bringing the people around you up. That's like the fourth level happiness. That's where true happiness comes from. It's really, and St. Francis of Assisi said it best. You must give to receive. And the truth is, the more you give, the more you receive. That's the truth of it, right? Trading volume, that's correct. 100%. Andrea is coming out with that big comment over there, which is the truth over there, that we're seeing the majority of trading volume coming from wealthy individuals inside the U.S. Shumba, thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Thank you. My wife makes all the decisions. Does the Euro US dollar show a CTM entry? Let's take a look at it right now together, right? By the way, I've jumped to real time. Not now. Oh, I'm on the daily. Not now. So a CTM, by the way, this was the bull flag, right? We were looking at this bull flag over here. Breakout, retest, resumption. That's conquering the markets all day long. That's the CTM entry. All right, but not now. Just stand aside right now. You got a huge risk and bet ahead of you. This is why we got like a Friday session ahead of us, right? We have the FOMC meeting, which means don't take any trades right now. I don't know. So I know you don't look at anything else but price, right? But what do you think about RSI and a divergence in RSI? I don't think anything of the RSI. Reason being is overbought and oversold can remain so for an extended period of time. The problem with any oscillator is that in a sideways market, you could sell overbought and buy oversold. But once you reach that period where oversold remains oversold, you're wrecked. I don't pay attention to it. Do I think that you could develop a successful trading system around RSI divergence? Probably. But I don't think it's the best. And I do think if you look at the weekly RSI on Bitcoin, that's going to be something we consider as we get out of the top over there. And thank you, brother. God bless you all. God bless you all and all your families for sure. Wonder that lengthening. I've been just asking you, when is it proven wrong? I hope all of Benjamin's crew take a look at what we're doing over here. That would be fantastic. Listen to the wife. My wife, by the way, has been the best ever. My wife called the top in 2017, and she called the bottom during the 2018. I should have listened to my wife. That's for sure. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at this comment. I do agree with the fact that we've come to Earth to help each other. soul. That's beautiful. Big institutional FOMO is so now above 20,000. Some of these people who know better than me, I don't know who they are. So, you know, but there's I've heard chatter from people within that world that once Bitcoin is stable above 20,000, that's really when institutions are really going to start taking a look. And then Raoul Pal has said over $1 trillion market cap. Of course, absolutely. I go absolutely 100%. Thank you, Anthony. Happiness begets happiness. Is it Euro New Zealand dollar running? Let's check it out. All right. Strawberry Jam, what's up? Interesting. Jekyll Island. I wish I could understand the original video that I watched. I think it was like a Zygist video. This was back in, I don't know, somewhere around 2007, I would say. Interesting. Sorry, thank you for smashing that like button over there. Thank you very much. There was a big shout out over here. Listen, out of the utmost respect, I'm not going to try to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. I have a learning disability where I'm not able to sound out words. But I want to say to you, thank you. Thank you very much, brother. Thank you very much. You know, big shout out to you. So we have a question over here. Is it safe to rely on finding solid YouTube or Twitter for information such as you instead of personally understanding macro and other data? So the most, no. You want to, you really want to, you really want to take in as much information as possible. Like, don't listen to me and my opinion. I mean, please do consult my insight for sure. I really go out of my way to, to do my best and keep everyone on the right side, and it works out well. But listen, you want to learn. I remember first getting into the markets. I remember I had my own business with a partner, and I would spend as much time during the week, another 40 hours, reading and learning everything I can. It has to be a passion, but you want to consult everyone. If you're in the inflationary camp, then you want to, if you think that inflation is happening, then you want to understand the deflation argument. Whoever is in the deflation camp, you want to understand why they think what they think, because it's different than your own opinion, right? You want to understand all sides. Until you understand things for yourself, it's going to happen. Eventually, you're going to understand, and you're going to have a lot more clarity yourself. But don't go ahead and just, if someone says buy Bitcoin, with the caveat of like, I've shaken my family by their shoulders and been like, buy Bitcoin. I don't care if you understand it or not, but to understand any investment you make. Thank you, Andrew, very much. Yeah, Ron Paul, hero, living modern day hero. Joe, would love to have you with us. Absolutely would love to have you with us. Would love for you to be a part of all we do. Very much. Could I mention something on M1 money supply? I mean, obviously you guys all know it's not something that I ever look at or consult. I'll try to pull up a chart. Come on, loading. Come back to that in one quick second. Yes, Robert, that's true. I'm Catholic. I'm Roman Catholic. Listen to your spouse in the house. Yeah, we've been tracking the metals now, Shane, for a couple of sessions. especially in those afternoon videos. Yesterday morning, we looked at the metals really clearly, but there's no rush. If the trend is getting started, there's no rush. Look at yesterday's morning's live stream for the metals. This is the chart we were looking at over here. You can see over here, this is gold, but it's about Bitcoin right now, right? That beautiful, beautiful Tammy, beautiful Tammy. Thank you. And I'm glad you're in now, right? Anyone who's able to position in now, as Bitcoin is making its new leg up, it just becomes a little bit more comfortable. Rod pointed out, always be watching out for the downside, the 30% pullback that would bring us somewhere around 14,000 something right now. It could happen, you know. But what's nice is, you know, as price continues to get up, it just makes your entry a little bit easier to hold on to. Here we go. I think M1 is pulled up over here. It's not pulled up. I mean, I don't know. Here we go. I really don't know what to say about that. You know? Can we zoom in over there? Just look what's happened. I mean, I honestly really don't know what to say about that. But I don't think this has anything to do with anything. Like this does not give me an edge whatsoever in my trading. You all know what gives me an edge. I share it with you every day. And in all humility, it's been the clearest edge in the markets out of anyone. So there it is, right? So you have a lot of people who like focus in on all this stuff. They're macro people, so they feel like they could be wrong for a really long time and still be correct. That's crazy skates for me. I don't understand that. You know, I just want to be on the right side of the trade. And all I could say is this is really worrisome for the future of for the future for my kids, and I worry about that. Zygist. Yeah, so the video, I do remember, it was a Zygist video about the creature from Jekyll Island that really began my journey and opened up my eyes. I don't know that's the best resource. It's the one that started it for me. I mean, that's, you know what? Look, I've consulted all of them, and I've shown everyone Dr. Lacey Hunt's work. I've consulted them and I've shown them to everyone because I'm really interested in what the other people believe, but they're wrong. They're wrong, and the market is right ultimately, right? And there's not much else to say, you know. So you know it's ever evolving, and if things change, we're gonna be there. But I'm not gonna stay on one side and be like, look, I'm right. They're wrong right now. There's nothing else to say, you know. And if it changes and we have a deflationary push, we'll be consulting that and we'll be looking at that. But Dr. Lacey Hunt has been right for 40 years. Dr. Lacey Hunt has also been very clear that he's now looking for signs of inflation. He's also been very, very, very clear that he is open to that. He's watching it and he's ready to jump to the other side. So do pay attention to what Dr. Lacey Hunt is saying, you know? I think, listen, everyone is so entranced in the inflation and deflationary camp, and it's such a distraction. You know, does it really help you? Is it helping you at all? I don't think so. What's important, right? Here's what's important. This is the one thing that is very important. And Raoul Pal, I think, probably is the best at really pointing this out to everybody, right? It's the fact that all fiat currencies are being devalued. All fiat currencies are being devalued. If all fiat currencies are being devalued, do you really care which is the strongest? Or do you want to be in scarce assets, right? It's really a no-brainer. Think about it. All fiat currencies are being devalued, right? Technology is uber deflationary. That's a force, a massive, 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 massive force. Is that stronger than all of this increase in the monetary supply? Listen, if you're following what's going on, where this is headed is the central banks introducing digital currencies that they have full control over, that they could lend out, send out directly to you, right? Bypassing the banks. The old system is changing, and either you're going to hold on and grasp the old system, or you're aware of what's going on. But the inflation deflation debate is nonsense. It doesn't help you whatsoever. Is BTC a rising wedge? I don't think so. I don't think so. Look, this is what we're tracking, right? We have this next area of resistance up here. Is it possible after this breakout that we come back in for a retest? We got some support around 19,548. Let's draw it in over there. That's entirely possible, right? You know, and we're right now in no man's land. This is resistance. This is support. We're in the middle. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Let me catch up to real time. I don't even know what's going on over there. TJ. TJ, this channel is life-changing. For me too. Not just Bitcoin, all other asset classes too. I believe God sent you to improve the lives of people and get people out of financial hardship. Listen, I mean, if you want to talk about God, I mean, I know that I've spent an enormous amount of time on my knees, just please asking God to let not only his plan for me be known, but, you know, to help me fulfill his will, you know, and whatever that is, to be able to participate in that, that's everything. To serve, to love and to serve, nothing else, right? Listen, in this time we're living in, if that's a role that I could play, I am extraordinarily grateful for that, because there are a lot of hardships around us, and it's, I don't really want to talk about it, but like when what I see is scary to me, and I don't like it. So if there's a little bit of light, a little bit of hope in there, then I'm grateful for that. Keith, thank you, brother, very much. I definitely greatly appreciate that. I am grateful for all of this, for all of you, for everything that we do here together. It's not about me. It's about all of us. Stop scaring me about my own children. I'm not even doing, like, just seeing that, and that's why I'm not even getting into it, you know? But anyway, what else we got going on today? Let's come back over there. Everyone, you all beautiful, for sure. Roman, so many people are so important. This is, I think what's happening here is very special. I do think that this community is very special, you know? So I think we're going to call it a session. It's been actually phenomenal. I think we should just leave it here. We had a family Christmas party last night. We were out late, but you know what? It was a really beautiful session. It's really beautiful here to see Bitcoin doing what it's doing, right? And we're just going to do our best to stay humble, to stay low, right? And to stay on the right side of the market. Anyone interested in the inflation and deflationary, like, so if you are really into what Dr. Lacey Hunt says, then you should also be into what Lynn Alden says. And I'm in actually Lynn's camp personally, you know, but those people, they're in a different dimension than myself, right? We're doing different things. They're like intellects, brainy, you know, it's just different. That's not me. You know, I just do what I could do, right? I just play my small little part. But I do really think that, you know, always consult all sides and then make an informed decision about what you believe. And then, like Brent Johnson showed us, be very open to changing your view if you're shown different information. Brent is a deflationary guy. And then Brent yesterday did an interview, right? He did an interview with his mentor who showed him the deflationary trade, who's now saying, not only are we going inflationary, he's saying we've already gone inflationary, And then Brent is listening with open ears, and he wants to understand. Not because Brent wants to be right, because Brent wants to understand what is the truth. So consult all areas. That's all. Yeah, Jeffrey, me too. Each one is definitely different. So many special people. Lynn is great, right? And I have the utmost respect for Brent right now. It's not easy. And by the way, these two, even he does go on to say that, the dollar in the end is going to be king over here when it comes to fiat currencies, right? But I have so much respect for Brent, just willing to entertain. Granted, it's coming from his mentor, but to understand that things are changing. And he wants to be on the right side of that. That's awesome. That's beautiful. All right, everybody. Have a beautiful day. We have no outro music today. I don't know what's going on this machine or how I could fix that. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to fix that. And, have a beautiful day. And thank you. I'm grateful for all of you. That's all I could say. Genuinely and truly. So thank you. And I'll talk to you this afternoon. It's going to be a big update, obviously, because we're going to be... I have no idea what's going to happen. Let's see what happens. Let's see what the FOMC says. Let's see how the market reacts. That's a very big deal right now. The one thing to worry about is if the FOMC is like, listen, we need the government to step up. We need the government to step up. And the government's not going to do that. The market might not like that. Now, there's also the Fed has a history of outdoing the market. I expect that's what happens. It might not. And there's the outside possibility the Fed even eases over here. So, it's a wild card. We'll see what happens, and we'll see how the market reacts, and that will be our next steps. All right? Just be prepared, even if you see Bitcoin over here, even if this becomes a big, long wick to the downside, right? Hold on in fortitude, right? We know our levels. As long as we're above here, this trend line over there, everything is nice over here. If you're leveraged and you break that trend line, make sure that you position out a little bit. Caution, we're coming back down toward that trend line over here. This is all possible. All right, so let's be aware. Everyone, have a beautiful day. Thank you for making mine so beautiful.